Alright guys, I'm back with another video here. So it's pretty late for me already. I'm trying to make this one quick. I've been going through this, balance sheets, kind of reading it on my own, and I realize I have not shown this particular balance sheet yet. This page here. And I think it's pretty important to kind of go through a little bit more. Again, I'm not going to go through every line item here. I'm just going to, pick and choose the one that I think is the most important ones. And hopefully I could make this video under 10 minutes. So before I go any further though, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an expert in reading the balance sheets here. This is just me learning and share this journey along with you guys. And of course, I own GameStop as well. So I'm biased in that sense. Please keep that in mind as well. All right. Sorry, I'm a bit stuffy as well too, so please forgive me. Now, in this particular page, of course, it's showing you what's going on last year compared to this year, okay? And the date is right there for you to see. So as you could see, right off the bat, you could see that there's asset versus liability, right? So if you look at the cash position, I showed you this one before, and it's $1.4 billion, right? Close to there. That's a pretty healthy cash position right there compared to last year, right? Now, right off the bat too, you could see that there's decrease in inventory. That's a good sign, right? That they're actually selling, right? There's still a whole bunch of inventory there, but compared to last year, compared to last year, they were able to decrease it by $300 million, right? So that's good. Current asset down by the same amount as inventory there. So if you compare the total asset to this year, right, last year to this year, you see that there's decrease there, right? Oh my God, what's going on? Why is the asset going down? Well, before you alarm by that, look at that liability as well. So you could see that there's the same, right? The same amount. So they decrease their liability by the same amount as well. So it's kind of cancel each other out, right? So that's that. And of course, let's go down here. All right, so one other line item that I think is much more important to look into is this one, shareholder equity, right? If you look at from last year to this year, there's a decrease in shareholder equity, right? And so I'm like, oh, what's going on there? Now, don't be alarmed by this. The reason why there's decrease there, I think, is because they took that and bought marketable security with it, right? And to me, this is a very, very smart thing to do. Now, if you read at the top right here, sorry, I should kind of find right here. You read at the top right here, you know exactly what they do with that marketable security, and that was the U.S. Treasury bond. Okay, and they took $250 million off of shareholder equity to buy bond. Why? Because they sit in they sit in bond to make yield. And they already reported that they earned $2.6 million on top of it already, in which case they cash out $1 million in cash. So they already made $1 million in cash and they're still sitting on the rest. Okay. So that's why you see that $251 million right there. The same exact one, right? So to me, this is a smart thing to do. Why? Number one, you get to earn interest on top of the fact that the bond value that they just enter into is lower, right? So the value of the bond is lower because the interest is high, right? So when the interest come back down, the bond value will increase in value, right, will increase, meaning that $250 million could turn into $270 million or even $300 million in the nearest future when the Fed decide to lower the rate eventually. Now, it is also smart for them to do is that they didn't go all in, meaning like all $1 billion all in treasury bond. Why? Because they could technically add on to the bond value in order to appreciate the rates and take advantage of the fact that the value of the bond is lower in value, right? Because the high interest rate. Again, it's kind of counterintuitive. When the rate is high, the bond value is low. But when the rate is low, the bond value will increase in value. So remember that. Now, one other item that I want to kind of focus on is this right here. Debt, long-term debt, right? Now, this is important because money become more expensive, right? But they were able to kind of lower the long-term debt by $10 million or close to $10 million. Sorry, over $10 million decrease right there. So again, I'm sure, they could pay this off in a sneeze, but I'm sure they are trying to be smart with the fact that they could pay it off with the free money that they get from just sitting in the government bond. Now, one other one that I will end on here is this total liability. They were able to decrease their total liability by $100 million. That is monumental. Okay. And yeah, I mean, they are so smart with their money here that it makes this company solid, and will survive many years to come, let alone this downturn recession here, right? So I'm not worried about it at all. The fact that they use shareholder equity in order to make more value for shareholders, that is amazing, right? And I'm sure they're sitting on cash to wait for the opportunity, meaning, buy any company that they want to merge, that they want to kind of increase shareholder value in the future. I cannot wait on what this leadership is going to kind of scoop up, right? After all the crash is coming. Yeah, so that's all I have for this one. I don't want to make it too long, and have a nice day. Okay, bye.